Number 1. Close all gates and make sure the gate latches are engaged. Number 2. Press the desired floor level button to move the carriage to the desired floor. The carriage will stop when the appropriate level is reached. Number 3. When the VRC arrives at the appropriate level and comes to a complete stop, open the gate. Number 4. If an emergency occurs when the carriage is moving, push the emergency stop, the e-stop button. The button will keep the lift inoperable until the button is pulled out. Electrical overview. Warning: falling hazard. Make sure all safety devices are in place and operable before using the equipment. If any safety device is missing or inoperable, immediately remove the equipment from service. Per the ASME B20, all gates or doors accessing the lift area must be electrical and mechanically interlocked. This requires electrical contacts to prevent the lift from operating if a gate is open when the carriage is at the level, and mechanical locks to lock the gate until the carriage is at that level. Main control panel. All electrical devices are connected individually to the main control panel. The main control panel contains a fuse transformer, motor starter, relays, etc. A motor overload and current sensor is provided to prevent the motor excessive current draw. Push button stations. One push button station is normally supplied for each level. ASME B20.1 code requires that the push button stations be remotely located and unable to be activated by someone standing on the carriage. Each button station contains send to X, push buttons, and an emergency stop, an e-stop. To send to X, push buttons are momentary contact. This means the operator can press and release the send to X push button and the carriage will travel to the selected level. The operator does not need to hold the send to X push button for the carriage to continue moving. When pressed, the emergency stops prevents the carriage from moving. The emergency stop must be pulled out before carriage movement can be initiated again. Every employee must be aware of the hazards before entering the area under a raised carriage. Take appropriate steps to minimize these hazards and any others that are identified. Some of the more common hazards are inadequate refuge space, confined space, improper air quality, inadequate lighting, improper access, tripping hazards, unsafe or lack of pit ladders, the presence of moisture, water, and oil, or moving equipment. Important safety information. Warning: if any defects relating to operating safety and reliability are detected, or if any damage occurs, the VRC must be taken out of operation immediately. Before the VRC is put into operation, all VRC parts must comply with all relevant health and safety directives and regulations. Do not switch the main power supply on or start the VRC when persons are in contact with the VRC. Make sure that no persons or objects are within the range of any moving parts on the VRC. Climbing, sitting, walking, or riding on equipment while the equipment is in operation could result in death and serious injury. If the VRC needs to be modified in any way, contact P-Flow Industries Incorporated for assistance. Do not make any unauthorized changes. Falling hazard. Close all gates before the carriage is moved. Never leave the lift unattended with the gates in the open position. Never close gates when a person is on the carriage or within the fenced area. Place the load in the center of the lift platform to avoid shifting loads. Make sure that any portion of the load does not overhang the perimeter of the carriage. This could create an unstable load condition. If the carriage deck does not stop after contact has been made with the limit switch arm, or continues to drift past the floor level, the lift motor brake is not working properly. Discontinue use of the VRC and contact P-Flow Industries Incorporated for assistance. Lock out, tag out the VRC before removing jammed product. Be aware that stored energy in the lift components may move or shift when the jam is removed. De-energize any circuit before work is begun. Do not over travel. Stops. Mechanical or electrical must be in place to prevent the carriage from traveling beyond the intended floor level. Over travel could cause permanent damage to the carriage or failure of the lifting mechanism. Entanglement hazard. Secure long hair, wear snug-fitting clothing, and avoid wearing jewelry while using the VRC. Important safety information. Danger. Stay within the rated lift capacity. Make sure all safety devices are in place and operable before using the equipment. If any safety device is missing or inoperable, immediately remove the equipment from service. High voltage. A qualified electrician must install all electrical connections and permanent wiring in accordance with applicable local or national electrical codes. Make sure the equipment is properly grounded in accordance with local electrical codes or in the absence of local codes with the current edition of the National Electrical Code. Falling column hazard. Make sure all beams, columns, posts, enclosure panels, and components are properly supported during installation. Illustrations may show the beams, columns, posts, enclosure panels, and components unsupported in order to make the equipment and installation instructions clearly understood. Keep clear of unsupported platforms. Stay out of the area under a raised platform. If a maintenance operation requires the carriage to remain in the raised position, refer to Bulletin 15709-0083 for additional information or contact P-Flow Industries Incorporated, Product Support Department for assistance. Warning: passengers are not permitted. Riding may result in death or serious personal injury. This equipment can be dangerous if not used properly. Allow only competent adults who have been properly trained and authorized personnel to operate this equipment. This equipment must be maintained to ensure safety. Allow only properly trained personnel to service the equipment. Implement a routine safety inspection plan. Follow the recommended preventative maintenance schedule in the owner's manual. Lockout tagout equipment before performing any adjustments or maintenance. If the equipment is not locked out, it could start unexpectedly and cause injury or damage. Make sure all personnel are aware of the potential for stored energy to be present even after the power has been locked out. Refer to ANSI Z244.1 and OSHA 29 CFR 1910.147 for minimum requirements for lockout-tagout system. There may be additional state or local requirements. Components and accessories may be heavy. To prevent serious injury, use the appropriate lifting apparatus when handling the components and installing the VRC. Important safety information. Intended purpose. The intended purpose of the P-Flow Industries Incorporated Vertical Reciprocating Conveyor, or VRC, is to provide a safe and simple means of moving materials only up to the VRC's rated capacity from one level to another. VRCs are not elevators. The VRC is exclusively intended for use in establishments where all operators have been trained to understand the purpose, limitations, and associated hazards of the VRC. Any other use is strictly forbidden. Potential risks and possible misuse. P-Flow Industries Incorporated has attempted to protect against as many hazards as possible. The following potential risks should be addressed before the VRC is put into operation. Risk of injury caused by falling products. Risk of injury caused by product extending beyond the confines of the carriage. Risk of injury caused by exceeding the weight capacity of the VRC. Hazards occurring at places where the VRC connects to incoming and outgoing conveyors. Risk of injury if any safety features are bypassed. Risk of injury due to the use of corrosive chemicals or water jet. Safety alert symbols. To ensure your safety and the safety of those around you, it is important that you read, observe, and understand all safety precautions relative to a particular task. Safety precautions in the manual are labeled with an alert symbol followed by the word danger, warning, or caution. This is the safety alert symbol. It is used to alert you to potential physical injury hazards. Obey all safety messages that follow this symbol to avoid possible injury or death. Danger indicates a hazardous situation that, if not avoided, will result in death or serious injury. Warning indicates a hazardous situation that, if not avoided, could result in death or serious injury. Caution indicates a hazardous situation that, if not avoided, could result in minor or moderate injury. Notice, used to address practices not related to physical injury. As per the application guidelines for vertical reciprocating conveyors, version February 2010, it states in item 5.6 that a snap chain that is a minimum of 39 inches high at its lowest point be mounted across the loading or operating sides of the platform. The chains, when connected properly, are a guide to make sure the equipment loaded on the VRC are within the confines of the platform and will not go beyond the boundaries of the platform during normal operation.